Okay, let me share slide which I'm going to use today. So this is my slide that I will share insyaAllah nanti, tapi saya akan buanglah yang apa, yang examination ke, yang apa semua tu kan Okay, getting through your thesis examination excellently. So that's why saya kata tadi bahawa you are going to go through the thesis examination. Okay, so this is a thesis. So at the end of the day, your objective is this. Of course, he has to go through process examination. That means the thesis have to be submitted and sent to the examiners and what do you call, examine and assess. Then you go through the Viva process. Then you do the correction. So this, at the end of the day, this is what you're going to try and produce so that you earn your PhD and you are entitled to the apa ni orang kata, nama depan kita ada DR lah, doktor, Dr. Syahril Rahman. Jadi kita boleh bukanlah bangga, tidaklah, tapi kita orang yang ada ilmu ni, we have knowledge, it is actually amanah for us to continue giving the knowledge. Okay, that's amanah. So the flow of presentation today, you can read the book, How to Survive Your Viva. Okay, those are what you call tips and so on. But today I'll share with you the important things. I'm not going to share everything. I don't have time, 1 hour to share everything. Tapi gist saja, the most important things. So basically I will start with the saya cuba tulis ni boleh pakai. Jadi boleh pakai examination and Viva, examining a thesis, and the Viva, the main purpose, preparing for Viva question, and then oral defense tips, and finally conclusions and wrap up. Before we go further, sebelum kita pergi jauh, kita kena tanya diri kita. You are doing a postgraduate study. Okay, you are doing master by research, PhD by research. So the characteristics of any research-based program is the creation of a significant piece of research during the candidacy leading to the award of the higher degree. Meaning that, any research-based program, you have to come up with something which is, not to say significant means you solve the world's problem. Tidak. Significant means within the context of your research problem, you're able to come up with a new formula, a new program, a new software, something new. Then it's significant and it's solving the whether it's theoretical problem, whether it is practical problem. You must claim it is significant. Itu penting. Pasal kalau in your thesis you don't claim to be it is original, and you do that because you want to gain knowledge and understanding. Any research is for the sake of the purpose of gaining knowledge and understanding. So rather, gaining knowledge is not only amassing facts, bukan hanya kumpul fakta, tidak. It is actually exploring and trying to answer research questions. Itu pasal dalam all the time we're trying to ask candidate, okay, what is the research question? Because this research question will be able to get to the final objective. For example, characterization. Perkataan yang selalu digunakan dalam PhD adalah characterization. How do you characterize a leaf, daun yang buat photosynthesis? Itu characterization. Okay? So it will involve explanation, will involve finding out why the phenomenon is happening. Why small companies facing problem to implement, for example, total quality management ataupun lean manufacturing. Kerana itu bidang saya lah. Jadi kita kena fikir, okay, kita characterize. kita mencirikan. Dah kerana, because when you characterize, you will provide understanding. Okay? Any questions? You can stop me anytime. No problem. So I hope you can mute your mic when you come in. Okay. Challenged by status because you're required to be much more self-sufficient and self-motivated. Dalam PhD ni tidak ada perkara yang paling challenging adalah kita ni kena we must be self-motivated. Okay. No one else motivate us. Tidak ada orang lain yang boleh motivate kita. Susah juga ni. Betul susah tak? Macam mana macam mana you all motivate yourself? Nurul Ain, macam mana you all motivate yourself? Macam mana kamu memotivasi?
Deadline, Prof.
Oh, deadline. Okay. Schedule. Itu pasal dalam PhD. Kalau dalam dulu PhD dekat ni office saya di rumah ni. Dekat dinding ni penuh kertas jadual. Penuh. Dulu mana ada komputer ni kan? Tanpa print jadual dan juga tengok tentang target ataupun katalah okay, by this date saya kena siap saya punya chapter 1. By this date saya kena siap chapter 2. So this become your motivation because saya dulu kat UK, bilik saya macam reban ayam je. My room is just like this reban ayam. Reban ayam chicken punya ni. Kecil je. Lepas tu semua buku. Tinggi sini kertas. Sini kertas. Ni pasal itulah yang kita nak capai. So that is something everyone, you must be self-motivated. If you are not self-motivated, saya pun tak boleh nak kata apalah. Okay. Are you aware of this? Are you aware of this doctoral degree MQF level? Asme, are you aware of this? Tak apa, kalau tak aware pun cakaplah tak aware, tak apa. Saya bukan nak pukul kamu, tak, saya tak pukul kamu. Jangan risau. Are you aware of this? Tak berani jawab lah. Ada orang lain berani jawab lah. Siapa yang aware of this? Rosdan, are you aware of this?
Yes, Prof.
Okay, good. You're aware of this. What about Syahrir? Are you aware of this?
No, Prof.
No. Okay, now today I brought you to the new knowledge yang kita kena tahu bahawa MQF, Nation Qualification Framework, stated that this is the requirement for you to be at PhD level. So when you are saying that PhD level, a doctoral degree provides for further enhancement of knowledge, skills, abilities obtained at the master level. So beyond master level. So you must be able to do independent research. Then you have to show your ability for systematic comprehension. That means when given one topic of you baca journal paper, you kena comprehend. Kata you cari journal paper ni untuk metodologi. Metodologinya adalah structural equation modeling. You kena comprehend, you kena tahu in depth. If you're in my area, total quality management, if I ask you who are the gurus of quality, Deming, Duran, Crosby, if you don't know, you're in big trouble. You're in big trouble because that is orang kata the asas, mastery of research skills and methods. So you must have mastery of research methods. Sebab dia PhD satu je, sabar. Kalau tak sabar tak dapat PhD. Itu je. Betul? Setuju? Setuju tak? Sabar. sabar cari research method, sabar, but you have to go through this process. If not, you cannot. So, siapa yang tak pernah jumpa ni, sila baca. Sila, please read and please try to find out what this means. For example, show capabilities to generate, design, implement, adopt research process with scholarly strength. Scholarly strength means you have the ability to articulate and to explain the research process, the research outputs, outcome, results, analysis. Scholarly means with good explanation, criticism, and defense. If you cannot defend your point of view, then you're going to lose the race, okay? Or you have some difficulties. And the most important thing normally people ask is, pasal kat Viva ni, apa contribution kamu? Itu dia punya killer question. Killer question adalah, apa contribution kamu? Saya minta maaf lah, saya nak kena minum air lah. Saya cakap tak sedap. Boleh So contribution to the original research that has broadened the boundary of knowledge. Okay? And you can defend it through international standard writing, international referee paper, termasuk Viva nantilah. Sebab Viva ni ada tempat di mana kamu, the place in which you defend your theory. It is a place in which you defend your philosophy, your thinking, your ideas. If you cannot defend your ideas, then it's going to be, difficult. Because you haven't reached to this level. So saya suka lihat macam ni lah. Kalau saya bagi perbandingan. So ini adalah the body of knowledge for this particular area, organizational excellence and performance. Imagine bulatan ini, the circle represent the body of knowledge, current body of knowledge. So this is the research area that you are focusing on.
Hello?
Ya.
Dengar juga aku lah, after lunch lah.
Tak dengar ke?
After lunch lah.
Itulah saya kata tadi, suruh mute, kamu tak nak mute.
Ya.
Kan aku dah kata tadi dah, aku suruh mute, korang tak nak mute. Please make sure that you mute your, kau tak makan lepas lunch kan, ikan nombor ekor lah keluar, tak apa-apa lagi keluar kan. Okay, so this is the...
Prof.
Yes.
Ada satu question.
Okay.
Okay. Contribution to the knowledge.
Siapa ni Syukri
Okay, saya Syukri, Prof. Minta maaf.
Tengoklah muka sikit, saya tak dapat tengok muka ni, saya tak...
Okay.
Tengok muka sikit, baru seronok sikit. Apa Syukri?
Okay, saya nak tanya pasal contribution to the knowledge. Memang problem sampai lagi lah, tapi saya nak compare. Okay, PhD, okay, contribution to the knowledge ada. Tapi engineering doctorate, macam mana nak cari contribution to the knowledge sedangkan we are engineering, we are not contribute to the knowledge. Jadi different ke macam mana pun, ataupun memang ada engineering doctorate ni memang ada contribution to the knowledge, cuma saya tak jumpa ke macam mana? So ada different tak?
Kalau engineering doctorate, biasanya we look for contribution to innovation. By the end of the day, the new innovation is also new knowledge. The way that you articulate or you describe your new innovation, because any new innovation will probably become a new knowledge. Betul Syukri? The way that you explain it, the way that you actually claim, because in engineering doctorate, normally we're looking for innovation. So innovation is, it is not new theoretical knowledge. So you have to be careful. Okay? So it is not necessarily new theoretical knowledge. Because knowledge can be new practical knowledge. Yes, you see what I mean? The way that kita we phrase, you phrase your description. That means when you write your analysis results, you can relate to new practical knowledge. New knowledge. New knowledge doesn't mean that it is only theoretical. So we have to, because problem dia, kita ingat, we think all this thing, knowledge must be theoretical, Doesn't mean. There are so many things, you know, that we learn from doing, then that become new knowledge. Understand? The knowledge doesn't reside for, bukan diklaim untuk theoretical saja. But I beg to differ lah, because knowledge can be practical knowledge. That's why when I'm examiner for engineering doctorate, I look for practical knowledge. What's wrong? What's wrong with practical knowledge? What's wrong? Problem dia adalah examiners yang ramai yang lalu fokus tentang theoretical knowledge. That is the challenge for academics lah tu. Itu masalah academics. So you have to phrase, you have to actually, you know, nicely say and convince that it is actually knowledge. Okay, and it's a contribution lah. So I'm saying here kan, maknanya dia new knowledge ni macam sekarang lah memang saya purposely tulis ni. Purposely saya tulis new research, post-COVID global business framework. Okay? So isn't this something which is actually a practical, and it cannot just become a theoretical knowledge? Betul tak? Kan? This is what we are experiencing today. Contohnya ginilah. Kita sekarang, now we are faced with this online learning. All of us are faced with, you know, having to go through this video conferencing platform to learn. Is it effective? How effective is it? How good is it? I don't know. I don't know. You also don't know. Betul, Syukri? You also don't know.
Yes, agree.
So the way forward is for us to study from this so-called actual happenings and come out with a new thing. Macam ni lah, global business framework. It must be coming from what we are experiencing today and documenting it, and then testing it out, and it become new knowledge. Okay. Right. Any questions? Any other things? Any questions? So I'm just coming back to this research because at the end of the day, you must understand what research is all about. You're extending the boundary of knowledge. Knowledge doesn't reside in the university. It also resides in the industry. New knowledge also exists in many areas and many places. And all these things, all these are actually MQF, level 8, critical analysis, evaluation and synthesis, and then communicate with peers and promote the technological society. So this is not advertisement. This is how you see yourself. How do you see yourself? Of course, you see your very hopeful dreams. But how most professors see you? Oh, just kidding. Okay, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, this is just. I don't see you as this. Okay, I don't see students as this. I see you. I see at least myself. Okay. Okay. So what is a thesis? Anyone can answer me. What is a thesis? Anyone wants to tell me what is a thesis? Nolia lah, tanya Nolia. Nolia apa ni, apa thesis? Habis tak submit thesis, kena tahu thesis. Apa thesis? Apa Nolia?
Compilations of research work.
Compilation of research work, okay. What else? Anyone else want to help Nolia? No? Okay, a very simple there's two definitions. Two definitions. One is it is a statement or theory put forward to as a premise to be maintained, something that you want to prove, that you are trying to put a stand, okay, which is actually similar to theory, contention, line of argument. Or this is my thesis. That's why the word hypothesis, okay, or postulation. This is the first meaning of thesis. That's why in your thesis that you're having is actually this second definition that you gave just now, which is a long essay or dissertation involving personal research written by a candidate for a university degree, a doctor thesis, a dissertation, and so on. So it's a piece of writing, or it is a doctoral thesis. But inside this written what do you call work, I have to ask you the question, what is your thesis? It is answering the first definition. Okay. So what is your thesis? Okay, let me pick a name. So Suhaila, what is your thesis? Suhaila Harun, what is your thesis? You can tell me what is your thesis.
My thesis consists of the compilation that work that have been done, including the readings on theories and also the data collections.
What do you intend to prove? What do you intend? What do you intend to prove? What is your central new idea, new theory? Not the people theory. People theory you use for your proving, but what is your theory? What do you want to prove? Okay, I tell you what I wanted to prove when I did my PhD. When I did my PhD, I wanted to prove that small businesses cannot follow large businesses' quality implementation style or quality implementation framework. So I'm saying that this was in 2000, okay, very long time ago. It's already being answered. So at that time, total quality management was implemented by large companies mostly, and the framework was, when they say you implement, you have to follow this style. No, you cannot. Small companies must have their own way of implementing. That was my thesis. So they have their own framework. So I developed a small UTM total quality management framework for small businesses, and put that into a thesis, which is the written what do you call, compilation. Macam Nola cakap tadi lah, compilation, written compilation of your research methodology, you punya penelitian itu, you punya result, you punya conclusion. Okay, so this you need to understand clearly. What is your the thing that you want to propose or solve or come up with against, you know, your okay. Sorry, there are many foreigners. I speak both language. I'm sorry, you know, You have to bear with me because I'm a Malay. So I tend to talk Malay and English at the same time. Luckily, I don't speak Japanese. If I speak Japanese, then okay.
Question, Prof.
Right. So a PhD thesis are all this, but not everything you have to fulfill. Okay, you have to pick what you are strong at. Whether you develop new methodology, you know, so you focus lah your own strength and your thesis. You develop new tool, you contradict existing knowledge, you try to prove that other people is wrong, you do experiment to validate theory. So these are all PhD. Okay, it doesn't mean that, of course, you don't have to solve everything. You only solve one area. Okay, don't solve the world problem, you'll die. Okay, right. So that's thesis. I've already given you an idea what thesis is all about, so that you can now we can move forward. Now, having completed the thesis, assume that you have completed and you've done all the work. Now you submit. So the typical examination process, you submit, it will be a document examination. That means the thesis will be examined by internal and external examiners. Examiners are nominated based on this criteria. Okay, experience in examining, expertise, reputation, and publication. Of course, reputation comes from publication. Now you can check every one of lecturers or professors. You can Google Scopus and check what's his H index. One H index 1 je. Aduh, letih H index 1 tapi profesor letih juga. So in general, 3 examiners are invited to respond to a university, so that university will have the benefit of range of examiner report and also balance, basically. The internal examiner, actually the internal examiner role is actually to safeguard the institution's candidates. But sometimes internal examiner, they act in contradiction, they are more thorough and more difficult than the external examiner. So it's I see from that perspective, because internal should be protecting our candidates, and external probably they have the check and balance between external and internal. So this is the first thing. You must think like this. Your thesis submitted, then it will have to, and depend on the process of the university. SPS take 1 month, 2 months. So don't need to worry lah, because I also waited 2 months for my Viva. You in Birmingham, University of Birmingham, 2 months waiting for Viva. So if you wait 4 weeks, you should syukur lah, okay? Okay. So when examiner receive your thesis, now this is where examination already begins. First impression of the thesis actually counts. I have seen thesis, with the first page title thesis wrong spell in one of the words. What is your impression when you get a document? This is so-called PhD thesis. Suddenly, the spelling of leadership, there is no S. What's your impression? Okay, so open up the thesis, abstract, spelling error. Okay, so first impression is, macam kita lah, kita tengok orang kali pertama, tengok orang ni dengan cara dia kan. Mungkin kamu pun ada first impression juga dengan saya kot. Pasal saya ni memang garang sikit lah. Itu je. Garang kot lah. Yang Orang tak Nolia senyum je tengok saya garang. Dia kenal saya daripada muda tu. Sampai beranak 3 dah. Anyway, so when you submit your thesis, please make sure that it is like 99.9% perfect. Don't submit a thesis with, wrong reference, no reference. You don't even check your thesis. It is not supervisor. It's not supervisor. It is the responsibility of the candidate. Okay? You cannot say, oh, my supervisor didn't read my thesis. No. It is the responsibility of the candidate to ensure you submit. Okay, never mind. And then the examiners will have an overview of the entire thesis. Quick scan of abstract and table of contents, introduction, conclusion, argument of the thesis should be clear. So basically, if the work that you have done, it's showing that you have gone through all the research process and you have actually argued and you have actually criticized, you have come out with good analysis and you have presented your case clearly in the flow, that is already a starting plus points. Okay, because we read the abstract, introduction, conclusion, then we have an idea of whether this candidate can pass or cannot pass. Okay, so by the end of the second chapter, that means by the end of the literature review, the examiner will already have some judgment of the work that actually been done by the candidate. Now, examiners, they are actually seen as a gatekeeping class, or they actually, when we are given the responsibility to examine a PhD, because it's we are responsible to make sure that you deserve to be earning a PhD degree. A PhD degree holder can pass another PhD holder. So imagine if you do not take care of the standards, there will be a flood of low qualities and unqualified PhD holder atau beli lah. Beli PhD. Beli PhD. Do you want to buy PhD? Of course not, kan? Okay. So this is examiners may consider examination as a gatekeeping task. Okay, we are trying to make sure you achieve the standards. Right? But at the same time, we want to give some experience to the candidate that this thesis can be further improved. That's why later on in the talk, I will talk about the results, with correction, minor correction, because those are actually developmental. If a candidate pass with minor correction, that is, the examiner has given the opportunity for the candidate to do additional correction work so that it meets the requirement. Okay, so that is developmental. And examiners will make a summative judgment and also provide the developmental experiences in the form of feedback. Examiners will have to write a report. So in the report, you will actually outline, for example, what are the mistakes, what are the things that can be improved, what are the, these are developmental, and you will actually give a summative judgment whether it passes or whether it require additional data collection or additional analysis. Okay, so reports will always consist of summative assessment as well as developmental component in the report. Okay, right? Any questions so far? Any questions? There is anyone putting up on chats? I cannot see because I'm in share slide. Okay. So in summative assessment, the examiner, whether it's internal, whether it's external, will make a judgment whether the thesis have met the standards established by the discipline and the university for the award of the degree. Okay. So whether it is accepting the thesis as is, accept with minor revisions, accept with major revisions, resubmission. Okay. Now, I know maybe some of you will be thinking, what if the examiner internal gave major? What if the external gave minor? Okay. So that's why we have the Viva Voce. Viva Voce. Viva is later on I will share, so that you will actually balance, or you will have to agree. Both parties will have to decide on one final result after Viva. This is before Viva. This is only examining the thesis. So you know, different examiners have different ideas and different you know, level of what do you call opinion. So that's why we have to listen, and we have to actually get their feedbacks, and then only, you know, the Viva session will decide. Will hopefully you know, come to an agreement. Okay.
Prof,
Yes.
is it helpful prior to the Viva Voce sessions too? So we as students, we just go through some informations regarding the examiners, their expertise, their sample of thesis, students,
It's
then
good.
research.
Exactly, it's good.
Possible, or no need
It's
to do
good.
up to that extent?
You know, it's good. Okay, I share you my experience. It's good to know who your examiners are, if you have that knowledge, or you've given the knowledge. Because sometimes you have actually used the examiner's work in your thesis. Okay, then when the examiner suddenly read his own work and wrongly interpreted and wrongly quoted, then you're in trouble. I have experienced that. I have experienced candidate. I don't know whether he know whether I was examiner or not, but you know, because TKM area is not really many, right? So he quoted wrongly. I told him I have to correct him. Of course, I didn't. This is just a matter of correction for him to actually be aware that, you know, sometimes the way that you interpret may be wrong and it will be corrected. Yeah, Cik Amir. Anything, Nolia? Yes. That you need to. I think it's important. Okay, regardless of who the examiner is, if you've done your work properly and thoroughly, your references and, you know, your interpretation, your arguments, if it is correct, then you don't have any issue, no problem. Okay, because you are, you know, for example, you use Taguchi methods. Okay, Taguchi method, not many people, for example, in the country. So you can check whether this guy, he's doing this particular, you know, programming in this area ataupun tidak kan. So you may know, you will able to check. Okay. But that you have to discuss with supervisor as well to think about, you know, or where sometimes the supervisor will decide for himself, the examiners. But it's good to know who are in the field, and you check some background. Okay. So I've reached the stage in which okay. So dah faham eh? Okay, so I've already told you thesis. Now the examination of the thesis per se, or the draft thesis or the submitted thesis. Internal will come up with report, external will come up with report. Okay, Syukri. Dia engine doctorate, 4 examiner. 4 betul lah 4. 3 examiner, 1 internal, 2 external, 3 examiner. So imagine a normal PhD, 2
sorry.
saja. 3 kan?
3 external
2
and
external.
3 internal.
3 external.
3 external and
Internal.
3 external, 2 external, 1 internal.
2 external, 1 internal. 3 lah. So if you have 3 people, I think you know the answer lah. 3 people. 3 people will have many opinions and many ideas, you know. So, well, the Viva process is another thing lah. Viva process in the process itself. But I'm looking from the student's perspective. Okay, student must be aware that you have to deal with at least 3 different opinions and ideas that you must rebut, that you'll be able to debate, you're able to actually justify your methods, you know, justify the problem and so on. Okay, so it's a challenge lah. It's a challenge. Having more examiners is a challenge. So what is the meaning of Viva Voce? It's a Latin word. It's a Latin word with the living voice. Okay, this is what I found from the literature as well. First known to be used in 1563 AD. So what happened now is, that means when this living voice means you have to present it orally by word of mouth. That means when you go to the when you submitted your PhD, after it has been examined by the examiners, feedback has been obtained, then you'll be called for a Viva Voce. It's now the assessment of the PhD thesis. PhD is by thesis and Viva Voce. Bukan Voce ni, di Voce. Voce. Okay, Viva Voce. Thesis and Viva. So in short, Viva lah. Right. So you need to orally present it. Now, the Viva Voce, or normally called Viva, refers to examination conducted by orally, by speech. Oral test or oral interview or oral examination, all these are same meaning to the Viva. So again, Viva, the purpose of Viva, there's threefold. Okay, examination, developmental, and it's a tradition. Okay, I will share with you. There are certain places which actually doesn't have Viva. Only Malaysia, because our tradition is already there is Viva, and now on under PKP and under COVID, now we have Viva online. So I haven't experienced Viva online. Anyone experienced Viva online? No one? Okay. So as examination, Viva as examination again, you know, I have written a report in one few of cases that I examined, that I don't give the result. I don't know what the result is until after Viva. Can you understand? Do you understand? When I got the thesis, I said in the report, no recommendation yet until after Viva. but the Viva is held. Okay, so I will only give my judgment when I have listened to the candidates' ability and also the mastery of knowledge, as well as what he has done, what he has solved. Okay, so there are those kind of what you call feedback that is allowed. That is allowed. Don't think that all examiners come up with the report and then they give minor correction, major correction. No, there is a clause which says no judgment after Viva judgment. Do you want to get those kind of result? Do you want? Khairah nak macam tu? Nak? Do you want to have no results after Viva? Of course you wouldn't know lah. You just know it after the Viva lah. Mizi pun ada. Oh, ingat tadi tak ada Mizi. Okay, so Viva as an examination, so it's going to be same thing. Same go through the process, but sometimes students tend to want to explain everything in the thesis. It's not the place to explain everything, because in Viva, you only have 30 minutes to talk or 20 minutes to talk. So what, you imagine 3 years of work, you can only explain in 20 minutes. It's a 5-minute thesis competition. 5-minute thesis or 30-minute thesis competition. So it is going to be examined as well for originality, contribution of knowledge, and mastery of materials. And the Viva also will make the examiner in person trying to understand the location of research with the broader context. Not location per se, but where does the contribution fits into the whole picture. Okay, like I mentioned just now earlier, that this is the body of knowledge, this is your particular small area. What are your newness, okay, or novelty, or invention, okay, as well as check the understanding of the student. You imagine I have examined candidates who, when asked the question, I asked a question, very simple question. I asked the candidate, what is a PhD? Okay, I ask the question now, what is a PhD? Ahmadi, what is a PhD? I ask the question, what is a PhD? You're doing PhD now, every one of you doing PhD. What is a PhD?
Philosophy of doctorate.
Engineering, doctorate?
Philosophy of doctorate.
Yeah, what is it? What is, if you can answer that question, okay? No, these are things that I've discovered. PhD, that a candidate, having gone through 3 years, doesn't even know what, for example, research methodology, qualitative, quantitative.
Prof,
Yeah.
PhD is explore the new area in the knowledge.
Okay.
During 3 to 5 years or more. And
is it going to make you an expert researcher?
And yeah, I'm PhD in innovation.
Okay, if you can answer, it's good. That's why, if someone who are serious, they will take care of those, fundamental things. Okay. Or even, for example, if you do analysis of variance, then the results is so beautiful, written ANOVA, this. When you ask the fundamental question, okay, explain to me this correlation, then you you have to be careful, because whatever you write and you put in this, every single word is accountable. Every single word that you put in and describe is actually it is representing your ideas. So if you copy from some other places and you cannot answer, then you are going to be having difficulty. No, I'm not saying that all people are doing this. I'm saying that, you know, in Viva we can check the understanding of students and ability to present the research, defend the thesis. Okay, that's most important. The most important is defense. That's why it's Viva. Viva is
Prof. Sorry for interrupt. Okay,
yes.
when you
Other
talk
question?
about okay, Shukri again. When we talk about defend the thesis, okay, sometimes my interpretation, saya punya anggapan defend is protect what I'm done. Sometimes berlaku perselisihan sampai menyakitkan hati some external examiner lah. So macam satu argument.
Don't to that extent. Do not.
Aku advice. Yes,
have
aku
tips.
advice Prof tentang that.
I understand. Understand. That is something that you need to learn, practice. One of the most important thing before going Viva is practice. Practice in front of your supervisor. Practice in front of your friend. Practice so that you know, ask your friend to ask provoking question to you. Provoke you. If someone provoke you, then you melenting. Okay. So another, you know, perspective as an examiner is actually to look at the candidate's attitude and also behavior.
I think.
Don't be defensive. Defend. Defend means if you have not done your work, you cannot defend. But if you are too defensive, that means you don't understand. You must put into perspective that, you know, examiners, you know, people like me, there are students, candidates that I examine, you know, start to increase their voice and shouting at me. I just laugh, you know, because when I ask difficult questions, the candidate cannot answer. But I just smile. Okay.
Okay, Prof, what is your advice when candidate
don't fight with the examiner?
Okay, when we cannot answer the question, what is the best answer to answer the question?
Okay, when you cannot answer the question, is it no, nanti ada bawah ni adalah. Okay. Kena pergi depan sikit Sekejap lagi saya answer question tu lah.
Okay, good.
There are tips on how to handle examiners. Okay. So come back to this. There are tips after this. Second purpose is to provide two types of developmental to candidate. First is basic development. It means that to raise the standard of the thesis, because you have to think that you are a student and you have not, for example, look at other areas or other theses or other things. So your mind is, you know, very focused on what you are looking at. So the examiner will be able to bring you to the bigger picture so that you can connect and you can actually relate that. And then second type of development is advanced development. That means the examiners are satisfied with the quality of the thesis, but he will want to actually give you ideas on moving forward. Okay, so this is not failing, but it's actually opening up the venue for you, especially if you are university lecturers. The examiner will give you a way. Okay, why don't you go and explore into this industry? Your model is very good. Why don't, you know, after this, when you know, apply for research grants, you go and explore into another new industry. Okay, so this is developmental, advanced developmental. Or sometimes they provide collaborative research. Okay, so Viva is seen as a platform to provide guidance on publication, future research, and collaborative research, perhaps with the examiners. Examiner may end up working together with the candidate to pursue new ideas. Okay, so that's the whole, you know, we are in the academic world. You know, in the academic world, once you have a PhD, you would want to continue contributing to new areas, new ideas, and collaborating with your supervisors, even your examiners, or anyone in the network of people who are doing research in this area. Okay. For example, myself, okay, I have a connection like I think Nolia tahu lah kan, Nolia kan, kita ada connection dengan Shindaguchi kan, betul Nolia? Mana Nolia ada sunyi.
Yeah, Prof.
So it provided opportunities for us to get expertise, you know, knowledge from other areas. So that's the linkage, kan? You try to explore further and get more what you call help. If you cannot get help internally, you can get help us externally. Okay, that's second, developmental. And then tradition. Some countries don't have Viva, such as New Zealand. Okay, they are given report before Viva to enable to pay for the Viva, not seen as examination, but more of development. Even in, saya pernah examine, I have examined one student, one candidate from France. Okay, they have Viva, but the Viva is just to confirm. They already pass. You cannot sit for Viva if you are not pass. Okay, if you pass, then you sit for Viva. It's developmental. And just to do, even after the Viva in France, Grenoble University, they immediately announce, candidate, you are now a doctor. So that's, you know, they already have that. Viva is just formality. Not in Malaysia. Malaysia, Viva is, everyone's scared of Viva actually. All candidates, you know. So that these are the purpose. You know, this is the third purpose of Viva, because it is actually to adhere to a ritual or tradition that exists in Malaysian universities. Okay. Okay. That's a jam ni. Okay. No way, I don't believe it. Wow, are you sure? Ni pernah tengok ke kata ni, kita biasalah kan sampai PhD kan. Yes, I'm defending next week. Okay. Buzz off dia kata if he can do it, there's hope for followers. So ni geng-geng lain lah yang PhD ni kan. Geng-geng lain ni prepare for his Viva. Okay. Next. Okay, now preparing for Viva. So when you are called for Viva, you must consult your supervisor for guidance. Supervisors must advise on research presentation skills, 3 years work in 20 minutes or 30 minutes. You must prepare a good presentation slide. Okay, you only have like 20 minutes, so maybe if you are 1 minute, one slide, then probably you only have 20 slides. Okay, if you talk 1 minute like this, I talk 1 minute, so it's already 1 hour. And you focus on key points. That's why it's called PowerPoint. And don't be mistaken why it is called PowerPoint. PowerPoint because it's point form. If you cut and paste from your thesis, I've seen that many times. Student cut and paste. The whole paragraph they paste into the PowerPoint. Don't do that. Don't cut and paste your thesis, into the PowerPoint. Summarize it and put it into a PowerPoint and write down notes. Write notes what you're going to say in the slide. Okay? Practice, practice, practice the presentation. Okay? Have mock presentation with supervisor or friends. Okay? Those who want to have mock presentation with me also can. Now we have Zoom. So call Dr. Syahri, okay, saya nak present saya punya Viva, kita buat mock. Boleh, anytime. Tak ada masalah. Tak payah saya nak bergerak, saya dekat rumah ni. Pukul 6 malam, okey lah kita Viva. So now it's more great opportunity for us to connect and present and share, right? Don't be shy, okay? Now, so Syukri tadi Syukri.
Yes,
Syukri,
yes.
don't become, jangan argumentative. If you start to argue with a learned person, you start arguing with me. I'm a, kan, bakul pula kan, cakap, nak argue dengan Profesor Syahri pasal quality, you pengsan lah. You pengsan. I'm serious. If you want to argue, your sparring partner, then you okay. So that is examiner, Syukri. Examiner. You're not talking about examiner. That examiner has examined 100 theses. That examiner has supervised 50 students. Master student 20, PhD student. You tengoklah sikit. Kalau you tak tahu, if you don't know,
tengok diorang dah remove
you don't know. If you don't know, just say I don't know. But if you don't know because you didn't do it, then that's a problem. Don't know also have macam ni lah. What is PhD? I don't know. Oh my God. I will die. What is, for example, what they call Cronbach alpha? When you do factor analysis, what is Cronbach alpha? Oh, I don't know. So think about it. Think about it. Present non-confrontational. Jangan confront. Pasal you belajar. You pelajar. You belajar. Belajar. Tak tahu, belajar lagi. Macam tua lah. Saya dah tua pun belajar lagi ni. Belajar pasal nak pakai online ni. Kelang kabut belajar. Dah tua. Patut dah pension. Tapi belajar juga. Okay. But to prepare for the Viva, formulate possible questions. You read your thesis, you read other people's work. Oh, what if he asked this question? Okay, you argue answer. What if he asked this question? Oh, I cannot answer this question. Mati mah. Yang tu you doa lah, you pray. Oh my God, Ya Allah, don't ask this question. Ya Allah, please. Macam. So, because of course you don't know everything. You cannot know everything, and it is impossible to know everything. Right? That's why there's boundary. You see the first key point, answer question politely. Politely answer. Okay. Justify ideas. So basically, actually you understand. You can agree to differ, but it should be substantiated. Substantiate means you must provide evidence and you must provide facts. Because normally, examiner will ask you, okay, turn to page 50. Why you use this word? We will ask that. We will ask to that level. After this, I will show you my report, examination report. This is the first time actually. I repeated it twice already. So you must be aware that candidates like examiners want candidate who can accept criticism. You must be familiar with the relevant section in thesis. You must memorize the thesis. Put in marks. Put in marks. Okay, this is section of. Go and scribble in your thesis. And you know, put in explanations. Yeah, someone raise hands. Who raise hands?
Prof, I ada soalan.
Boleh. Kerana kamu tak tahu, tak nampak pun kamu. Mana?
Tak nak, malu.
Apa?
If let's say you ask us to memorize every single thing in our thesis, right? Is it necessary, like in the literature review itself, we have to memorize all the authors? What they said, I mean.
You want me the real answer?
Yeah.
You want me to tell you in literature review, I memorize all my references. I know each of my, well, my references was like 100 plus now. I know, for example, Saraf et al. Saraf, until today I remember. Saraf et al. Developed a TQM, what do you call, a quality management critical success factors for manufacturing industry in United States. Black and Porter developed also a set of quality management. That was 20 years ago. Habibah, siapa nama?
Balkish.
Balkish. If you do not know, okay, for example, I say, okay, this is operation management book. This is operation management book. I memorize everything saya. Because I've been doing this for years. Okay.
I see.
So you,
okay.
If you don't memorize, at least you have the concept written and explained. I know today people have fast reading thesis, fast writing thesis. They chop, mandiri, chop, jadi sentence. No, literature review is about, I wrote a literature review in my own language. I read a paper and I summarize and I explain. Saya tahulah sekarang zaman kat MPs ini, balala, itu yang saya baca when I read a lot of thesis. I also pening kepala, man, trying to understand what this
I tried before the cut and paste, and then when we want to explain, and then we can't because it doesn't sync.
Exactly. So literature review, you must do it with your own heart.
That's what my SB said. Sama.
Yeah. It's like cooking, okay? Today, it's like cooking, a lot of cooking. So when you do something with your heart, okay? Cook with your heart. Do with your heart. Because I remember if I read my thesis today, I can recall back every single sentence that I actually wrote. Because I wrote it myself.
Yeah.
You wrote it yourself. Exactly. You know, you will have to think, okay, why must I write this sentence? Why must I write this sentence?
Yeah.
That's why a literature by yourself, you'll be able to explain because you wrote it.
Yes.
You wrote. So that's why I say in the thesis, if you do not understand what you wrote, something wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. I have another question, Prof.
Yes.
Sorry. You mentioned about do not argue with the panel who ask questions, right?
Yes.
What type of is it possible, like if they ask me a question and then I don't understand and I
there is a difference. Siapa nama ni? Habibah.
Balkish.
Sorry, Balkish. I didn't say do not argue. I didn't say. I said do not become argumentative.
Oh, do not. Okay.
Argumentative means, you know, you argue your case. The supervisor the examiner will give his point of view, and you know, you will come to a point that okay, I need to do improvement. Okay, you cannot keep on. You cannot keep on arguing because you're student.
Yeah.
You're a student. You are.
Yeah.
Somehow rather, the examiners is like 90% lah. Adalah 10%, the examiner yang probably not right lah kan. But 90% I would say you do not become argumentative.
No, do not become argument.
Apa dia? So you do not continue to argue. That's all. You argue once, argue twice. That's it. You rest your case.
Okay, Prof. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your advice.
Yes. You're welcome. Okay. Show enthusiasm for your work.
Prof.
Be reflective. Make eye contact with the examiner. Okay. Okay. How to deal with difficult question and dealing difficult examiners. Of course, that's why I said 10%. There will be difficult examiners. Now, Balkish, for example, if really difficult examiner, if you argue, finally she will fail you.
Aduh, takutnya.
Ego. This ego, at the end of the day, do you want to sacrifice your future by, do you?
No. It happened to me when I was defending my proposal last 2 years, and then one of the examiners, it felt so like I don't know what to do. I feel like I want to argue, but I know I'm just a student.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. No problem. You just you layan je lah. You layan je. Dia examiner ni, okay lah. Layan je lah dia. You angguk je lah. You je lah.
Prof.
Yeah.
Prof, examiners like candidates who can accept criticism. So that's mean we just can say yes.
Setuju.
No, you can if you want to, like, jadi gini lah, sometimes they do not see the whole picture yet. They may be wrong finally, actually. Okay, so you have the option.
Okay, Prof.
After the Viva, you can actually discuss with supervisor, and maybe this suggestion is not being taken up on at the end. Nampak?
Yep.
So you, layan je lah.
Okay, Prof.
Yeah.
Saya yang menurut perintah.
Tak apa, nanti kalau ada apa soalan boleh tanya lagi saya, no problem.
Okay, Prof. Thank you so much.
Okay, supervisor play crucial role.
Sorry?
And I continue with the next slide. Viva is a unique opportunity to get feedback from field experts in the field.
Yeah, okay.
And for you to clarify any areas the examiners may have misunderstood. Okay. Well, sometimes examiners also make mistakes. So you have to politely explain to them. Okay. Politely explain to them. Right. Okay. Those commenting, please send slides. Okay, I will send the slides. Don't worry. After this session, okay? Questions asked by students about the Viva are, am I expected to know everything in my field? Are you expected to know everything in your field? Are you?
Sure, Prof.
Everything?
Only focus my thesis.
Focus area lah. Okay, you don't have to know everything. That will become God lah if you know everything. Okay, what if I can't answer the question? Just now we already discussed quite long. Okay, if you cannot answer question, if the question relates specifically to your work, that you are, no, sometimes the examiner, they ask question beyond the scope. So you have to tell that the scope of the research is so and so. You understand? Sometimes examiners, they don't see the boundary. They only say, oh, why don't you do this? No, why don't you do that? You have to bring the examiner back to the framework of your research, the scope, boundary. Should I admit weaknesses in my work? Should you? Should you? Anyone want to answer this? Syukri. Saya suka Syukri. Syukri
Yes.
apa ni? Syukri.
Ya, admit lah.
Admit lah. Apa salahnya admit winner
Yalah.
pasal the final part of the thesis is limitation and weaknesses of the thesis. Why not? Because we are exploring within these 3 years only. You don't have 10 years to solve the problem. You only have just 3 time. Okay. What if you don't understand the question? What do you do? Yeah, what do you do? If you don't understand the question, what do you do?
Ask clarification, Prof.
Yeah, you ask for repeat of the question. Can you please politely repeat the question? In some cases, you know, I've had an experience whereby I'm the supervisor. So the examiner keep on asking question. My student cannot understand the question. So I rephrase the question to my student. Okay, so I have to rephrase and explain, okay, the examiner is trying to ask you this. Why don't you answer that? Okay. And then how well must I know that?
Prof?
Yeah.
Is that allowed?
Yeah.
Supervisor to interrupt. Is that allowed?
It's allowed if the chairman allow lah.
Oh, okay.
It's chairman in Viva. They can keep the supervisor's mouth shut. Keep quiet. You cannot talk anything. Or they will give opportunity to supervisor to rephrase. Depend on chairman. Okay. Ini dunia punya peraturan lah. Ini bukan peraturan apa ni. Okay. The examiners, okay, you should know some of the work of the examiners. If you know the examiner lah, like tadi Nolia asked this question. Okay. The examiners go through page by page during the Viva? Oh, soalan anggut tangan, anggut kepala. Ya. Amizi, macam. Do examiners go through page by page? Do you think examiners go through page by page? During Viva?
During Viva, no. During the...
There are examiners who go through page by page during Viva. So if you are unlucky, you get those examiners, you will have 4 hour, 5 hour Viva lah. Oh no, tak apa, 5 hour lagi lama, lagi best. Panas macam tu. But I do not normally go, myself, I go chapter by chapter. I prefer chapter by chapter. I mean, any issues on the first chapter, you settle, then you go for the next chapter. Depends on the examiner. So there's no rules, no hard and fast rule, because it's again depend on the examiner. Okay, so these are some questions. Examiners focus on 5 key areas: consolidation of the thesis, the doctoral level. So these things that you must be aware of. They will always look for whether you are achieving this doctoral level or not. Is it the master project? Ini master je lebih kurang ni, So you fill the gap in the knowledge. And also the link between professional knowledge and thesis, content, the relation between previous study and current study, the choice of methodology. Okay. Experienced examiners focus on doctoral level achievement by asking questions on the contribution to knowledge and critique of research. Experienced examiners look for trivial things such as focusing only on minor errors and being confrontational with the candidate and other examiners. This answer your question lah tadi kan? Siapa yang examiner ni? Dia Macam saya cerita tadi lah, I told you the story. The candidate scolded me and argued, scolded. I smile. I don't argue. HB, raise hand, okay. But Balkish, any question? Yeah. Yes. Question. Ada soalan? Any question? So you look at this confrontational. I don't confront candidates. No point confronting candidates. No point. Okay, because at the end of the day, you are supposed to be helping the candidate. You know, I would like to always think about how to help the candidate earn his PhD or her PhD, rather than you know, finding faults that, you know, is not going to be helpful. Okay. So what tips that probably other things that can share with you? If you, this is guideline, it's not must. It is not something that it is required. So based on 20 minutes time or 30 minutes time,
Oral defense.
this is presentation of your slides, right? So introduction and background, including highlights, if any, from literature review, 1 to 2 minutes. Research question, 1 minute. Research design and methods, 5 minutes. Okay, imagine 5 minutes, how many slides you can put inside there. Data sources and selection, findings, etc. 10 minutes. And this should be your focus. Okay. Results, findings, basically analysis. And if you need to provide recommendation implications, spend some time on that, and then summary and conclusion. So this gives a flow of right from the beginning of giving an overview of your background of your problem of research, right until you must not miss out. You cannot miss out. The main element. Do not put your slide chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, 4, and then following exactly like the thesis right up. Do a little bit of arrangement changes. It's okay, but don't put in things that you have not written in the thesis. Do not put in a new diagram, or I just figured about the diagram, this, and I put it for my research methodology. The examiner will ask the question, is this diagram in the thesis? If none, then you are, you will be questioned. Suddenly you come up with a new framework. Suddenly the framework is different from the text. That is not correct. That's not acceptable. Because you're supposed to be presenting what you have already written in the what we call thesis. And mind you, examiner has already read your thesis, so you don't have to spend a lot of time trying to just the key points in presentation. I always tell my students key points, not whatever in the thesis you try to transfer into a 20 minutes PowerPoint presentation. Okay?
20 minutes?
Or 30 minutes lah, sometimes 30 minutes. This I'm looking at 30 minutes punya format lah. Sekarang berapa minit? 30 minit ke? 30 minit lah, 30 minutes.
30 minutes, Prof.
Oh, 20 minutes. Yes.
Oh, 20 minutes.
20.
Okay.
I've seen some examiner, some chairman give 20 minutes, some, but the students sometimes they given 20 minutes. They talk 40 minutes.
Prof,
yes.
Will the examiner stop us?
Some examiner, chairman, not examiner, chairman.
Okay, chairman.
Some chairman who are very strict will stop you at 20 minutes. Some chairman.
What makes they stop us?
What makes you stop them? Because you're only given 20 minutes. Or just remind you, please, can you wrap up? Please, can you summarize? I give you another 2 minutes to summarize. So you only have that amount of time. So prepare for that. Don't prepare your, presentation, 1 hour presentation. I prepared for 1 hour presentation and I've already talked for 1 hour, 10 minutes. Okay. So prepare.
Okay, Prof.
No, the examiner have read your thesis. You assume the examiner already know.
Yeah.
So this is only a summary. And to highlight the key. Highlight the key, the finding, the significant thing. Don't waste time on, so and so, talk about this and then this. Literature review, 20 minutes. No value.
Okay.
No value. Value in Viva presentation is the findings. The value is the results and the analysis. That's the value and the contribution. That's the value. Not, those small things.
Okay, Prof. Thank you.
Right. So let's move on. So this content issues, concise and clear information, focus on findings, hit the high points, avoid a lot of names and numbers, and prepare. I think you need to do preparation. It takes a lot of time to do preparation.
God, that is difficult.
Maintain eye contact. I mentioned this already just now. Maintain eye contact examiner. Try to read as little as possible. Very important. You know how people present in PowerPoint? When you go to conference, you see the presenter read every single word in the PowerPoint presentation. Not being able to actually express his opinion, his PowerPoint, then elaborate. So don't read from the PowerPoint. Okay?
Okay.
And do not read from your thesis. Do not read from your thesis. Read as little as possible from your overhead PowerPoint. I mean, you have to give PowerPoint basically. Answer question honestly and succinctly. That means very precisely. To me, some people don't agree. Some lecturers don't agree. It's okay to say you are not sure. It's okay to ask for clarification. It's also okay to say don't know when you really don't know. You really don't know. What you have to say? I'm very sorry. I really don't know. But you
is it?
Escape, is it?
You can say that?
Very sorry. I am very sorry that I don't know.
Oh.
Nak marah-marah lah. Dia nak hantam-hantam lah. Bodoh je.
Tak apa. Cakap tak tahu.
Kalau dia memang tak tahu, jangan kau bohong. Mana lagi dosa? Bohong ke tak tahu?
Nanti dia kata, ni research you takkan you tak tahu.
You bohong tak? Kalau saya tanya, oh, you pernah dengar tak apa ni, this, so and so. Oh, saya pernah dengar. Okay, dia buat kerja pasal apa? Nanti you kelentong, you kata, his work was on this. That is the danger of lying.
Okay.
The danger of lying is that you are going to be trapped by the next question. By the next question. By the next question.
Okay. Right.
But that's why I say some people don't agree with me. I know. There are some lecturers who say, if you don't know, I'm saying that relevant to your thesis, you must know. But of course, beyond that, you say, no, this is beyond. Please, sorry, I didn't investigate. Okay. So I need to investigate for my correction? Yes, you need to investigate for your correction. What is that?
Out of scope.
Oh, give suggestion. Okay.
Out of scope is okay. You know, you can escape that one. If something well, you find that you miss out and the examiner found, you need to do the analysis now. Okay. It's helpful to write down the question as it is being asked. Remember, during the oral, have a piece of paper. Ni kadang-kadang datang, tak ada pen pun nak tulis. Tulis. Write down. When the examiner asks you question, write down. After you present, you can sit down. When you present, you stand up, right? PowerPoint. After the presentation, you can sit down. During the question and answer, you can sit down. So have a pen and a book or paper for you to write down question and then respond. Okay?
Prof.
Yeah.
Prof.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. So I have no idea how does Viva looks like, and then it's like we've given time to present our slides, then only the Q&A session, or during our presentation the examiner will starts the Q&A. Which one comes first?
Balkesh.
Yeah, Prof.
The thing is this. Dua-dua pun ada. It's to,
oh my God.
To depend on the chairman examiner. I've seen both. Some will interrupt the presenter. I don't like to do that actually. My style is let the student do the presentation half an hour, then sit down, take a rest, then only I start a question and answer session. But some examiners, they are so excited. They want to immediately interject and ask the candidate because he feel like not satisfied. He want to immediately challenge the candidate. I don't like.
That's what happened to me when I was defending.
That is inexperienced examiner. Sorry. I'm very naughty. Okay. No, to me it's unfair for the candidate to be put under such pressure. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's very important that that is another session for chairmen, for examiners to play the role of comforting the candidate so that he feel at home, feel at ease, and he feel that he is trying. He's a student. He or she is a student. Okay. That is that's something is I don't know how to unavoidable basically. Depend on the examiners and the chairman and the faculty. The faculty also. So always have a backup plan in case technology fails. If you have planned on using PowerPoint, a copy of the is be able to think about it. Okay. Other thing, always keep to time. Welcome for the questions. Providing, if you you are providing a brief overview only of your research, not reading the whole research. So be prepared. Arrive early. Just now at 10 o'clock, if you practice like this, your Viva, your Viva. How to fail a Viva? This question also you need to answer. How to fail a Viva? How?
This is the most scariest part. I don't want to be failed.
Okay, if you don't want to be failed, then bring up the thesis to a doctoral standard. That's very easy. Number one, thesis must be at the doctoral level. Okay, if I don't want to embarrass you, okay? How many thesis you have read? Nolia, how many thesis you kena baca? Ni soalan killer lah ni. Memang soalan killer yang orang kalau ni dia akan marah saya lah. Killer question. How many thesis you read?
Honestly, Prof, I just read my senior thesis, which related to me.
Enough.
One make me headache already.
Okay, saya nak tanya question pada Balkesh juga. Okay. Have you read?
Oh, I have.
When I say read, I mean start to finish.
Oh no, I didn't.
Huh?
No, I didn't read from the beginning to the end. I just
That's
skipped.
why. That's the problems of many PhD candidates today. Many PhD candidates today do not know the doctoral standards because we read very few PhD theses. During my PhD candidacy, I read countless, banyak. Even one thesis that I read, 2 volumes. 2 volumes. Robin Mann. I still remember because I read the thesis. Robin Mann, Development of TQM Framework for Large Companies. 2 volumes. Right until, oh my God, I tell you. Okay. So I'm not scaring everyone. I'm not scaring everyone. I'm just telling
This is so scary.
you have to do something from now onwards. Okay? So
Okay, Prof.
showing reluctance to engage in discussion, showing disrespect to examiner, getting angry. That's what I say. Don't get angry. Don't argue until you get angry. Don't need. Just relax. Getting defensive. You ask question balik pada examiner. You start questioning. For example, okay, this method use what? Becoming the examiner. Be careful. Be careful not to become the examiner because when you are being examined, you can ask clarification questions. That's different. But do not ask questions which are, from the examiner's point. And also showing examiner that you do not know your work. Your work, you do not know your work. Or you're confused. Okay. I'm not scaring everyone. I'm just saying to you that ni dah sampai pada peringkat ni lah. Dah habis ni, hampir habis. Okay. Ini nampak tak ni? Boleh baca kot. Boleh baca. Pada ni boleh nampak lah. You baca the first sentence pun kamu ngeri dengan saya. Ngeri dengan saya ni. The development of the research problem is not very rigorous as described in the first 2 pages. Page 2, in first 2 pages, page 2. What is, you cannot baca already. There are no references in some of the statements. There are too much reporting and not enough critical analysis of the literature in chapter 1. Tapi student ni pass. Dia punya report memang ganas. But the student pass.
Oh my God, this is so scary, Prof.
Then you start realizing why you want. Then nobody force you to do it. Okay? You into it, and you have to go through until the end and complete the page. That's all. Very simple.
Yep.
Pada muka surat 3, ni UTM ni. Kajian sebagai penting dan sesuai untuk dijalankan untuk melihat amalan pengurusan kualiti. Tapi tak ada sebarang rujukan dan hujah yang diberi. Cakap penting, tapi tak ada hujah. Apa benda? So, we are examiners. No, we are like me lah. I'm seasoned lah. I'm a seasoned examiner. I can read thesis in 1 week. I can finish and come up with a report. Okay. Banyak pertendehan kajian literature yang sudah diterangkan dalam bab 2 yang sekali lagi di bab 3. Apa? Dia yang foreigner ni tak faham ni. Ada orang Arab tak faham pun dia faham. Okay. So these are, the report that we need to do, we need to publish, we need to submit before the Viva. Okay. So during the Viva, what I do is I will look at this report and ask questions regarding what I have found after reading the thesis. Okay. So it becomes my point of reference for examining the candidate. Okay.
Prof, meaning that when the candidate is presenting the slides, you have prepared the report already, is it?
Yes, of course. I've already read the thesis and prepared the report, and I have both the examiner external and internal report, so I can read what the opinion. For example, if I'm internal, I also get a copy of the external. So we compare. Ah, okay, same opinion. Ah, okay, same opinion. So we will drive the Viva. That's why I say I go chapter by chapter. Whatever point that I've highlighted in the first chapter, for example, I will ask the candidate. If I get good answers and good response, okay, no, he understands. Okay, he knows. No problem. So it's confirmation of my judgment. This is only judgment on paper. On paper. And I need to confirm that verbally from the candidate. Okay.
Okay, Prof.
So don't worry too much. I may be scaring you, but you don't worry, insyaAllah.
Down je, Prof.
Down juga. Tak apa, lepas ni jumpa saya, kita minum teh.
Nak kena berguru ni, Prof.
Boleh, tak apa. Nak bila boleh, saya boleh tolong, insyaAllah. No, to the extent that, that, that's why I say this is the first time that I share personal reports to all of you who actually attended this session today. I can suggest for title team. Do you know that? Examiners can, because title of the thesis did not reflect the work. For example, this is a USM thesis, PhD, development of a model for enhancing prioritized solution in process improvement. It was not, development, just remove development, the model for decision making, because it's not, the enhancing is actually decision making. So we see a bigger picture because of our sedikit pengalaman. I mean, our little experience and knowledge. So that they passed. The student got PhD, but had a tough time to answer questions. Okay. This is in UTM. In general, the introduction has not shown the background of the research. When we read the introduction, immediately, because that's what I say, literature review today, cut and paste, get fast writing technique, It needs thinking. It needs you to articulate. It needs you to flow, understand. Okay.
My SV read line by line of my literature review.
Very good. Very good. You are lucky because you have a very good supervisor willing to read
Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
every line, which I also practice. Most of my students, which I got the knowledge from my supervisor in UK. He will read every single sentence and come out with a red pen. Every time I submit my chapter, I've done my best. This is my best chapter 1. And I get report, oh my goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you go through the process, if you are becoming a supervisor, you'll be able to, guide.
Supervise, yeah.
Okay, so that ends, almost ending my talk. I think you know this, you must be aware of this, all of you. Are you aware of this, all of you?
Yep. I want to get A.
You want to get A? You know how many percent get A?
How many?
0.1.
Seriously, okay lah, B1 lah, Prof.
Itu lagi praktikal lah. Jadi kalau you target B1 dan you dapat Alhamdulillah. Tapi kalau you dapat target A, betul ya Allah dapat B2. Allah sedihnya. Okay.
Right. So I target for B1 lah, Prof.
Boleh lah tu. It's okay. As long as you get PhD. Tadi ada kartun before this. Okay. So my thesis is written in blood, sweat, tears, and coffee. Or tea. Okay. Dan kau submit. Sorry, your margin ni macam SPS kita je. Your margin 0.07 wider than university certification. Okay, most of you haven't come through that stage yet, but when you submit, you'll check the format and everything. Siapa yang nak pergi pun boleh, tak ada masalah. It's okay. I'm almost finishing my talk today. So the defense checklist is I know my thesis thoroughly. I've written a one-page summary of each chapter. I've continued to work with my thesis after submission or have begun to prepare a conference paper or publication. I can see how my thesis fits into the big picture after going through 3 years. Okay, I know where I'm going to go in the future. I have kept up to date with relevant literature. I know what is happening now. So once you submit your thesis, it's already obsolete knowledge. The next day is already a new, someone is exploring other things. Okay. I know what the implications, both theory and practice. I had a mock Viva. I've asked my peers to quiz and challenge my thesis, and so on. Okay, so money become your checklist, and you can search for other books and know how others have seen and described. So in conclusion, before that, after this, if you have any question, I will entertain, say like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I've told you what is a thesis, told you what is a thesis examination, including Viva, Voce, and hopefully I managed to convince you how to get through it successfully. Then questions that will be asked by the examiners and tips for depending the thesis. I don't claim to answer everything that you have in your mind. I don't claim, because I think different people have different, ideas and different challenges. But this is overall. So now, the rest is on you to get through it and be entitled to be conferred. Okay, so Dr. Nolia Rudin, lepas ni Amin lah. Dr. Azmi, jadi saya doa semua doktor-doktor yang akan datang ni.
Nama I you tak sebut pun, Prof.
Alah, Dr. Balkis, okay. Dr. Syukri, Dr. Suhaila, Dr. Syed, all of you doctors out there.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you
for coming, and thank you for listening to my small talk. Thank you very much. And any question, I will.
Thank you so much, Prof.
I will share the slides to the organizer, and tapi saya akan buang lah yang examiner report tu saya tadi. Saya tak akan bagi, itu adalah confidential. Cuma saya share dalam sesi ini.
Okay.
It's a valuable session. No, saya ni ilmu saya sikit sangat. Allah punya tak sampai sikit sangat. Saya tengah cuba buat video, dan saya ada YouTube channel. So I'm trying to transfer my knowledge as much as possible so that the world can manfaat. Okay. Question? Any question?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Allah, ni jangan terima kasih saya. Syukur pada Allah. Okay.
Prof, saya ada soalan.
For any question.
Prof, saya ada soalan.
If you nak leave the session, it's okay, because all these are recorded. I've recorded this, dan saya akan share dalam YouTube, insyaAllah. Dan masuklah nama-nama Nolia dalam saya punya kuliah ni. Dr. Nolia.
Salam Prof, nak tanya ada soalan.
Semua Rosdan, Dr. Rosdan.
Prof, untuk Viva, which one do you prefer? Online Viva or normal Viva? At this moment, MCO period ni.
I heard an online Viva. So I've seen pictures of online Viva. In fact, saya pun pernah online Viva, video conferencing. Remember just now I mentioned about France thesis? It's actually I have to video conference to France. So it works. I've already submitted the report, and they handle from there. So dalam in this condition, I think it can be done. It can be done through online. Of course, be much more prepared, okay, online. and the technical issues, you know, connection, internet, all these things, make sure it is running. Okay, so all the future doctors, good luck, all the best to you. Okay, and also yang pernah jadi doktor pun, yang tengah doktor ke. Okay, ada soalan lain tak?
Okay, terima kasih Prof.
Okay, kalau tak ada, apa ni, we'll terminate our session today, so you can leave the session. Those who feel that you have something that you want to ask in person or anything, I stick around for like 5-10 minutes before I actually end. Okay, I'm recording this. So thank you very much. Good luck to all of you. Selamat berjuang.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
Excuse me, Prof. Can you send us the slide of the presentation?
We will. I will send to the organizer, and the organizer will send to all of you. Okay. But I need to do a little bit of editing from the slide for all of you. So I need to, you know, adjust a few things. Yes, I will send. Inshallah.
Thank you so much, Ustaz. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Doctor.
Prof,
Ya.
saya ada soalan. Baru sekarang menyelip.
Tak apa, boleh.
Soalan saya kan masa Viva session, examiners akan bertanyakan soalan dan examiners pun dah komen dekat yang official paper yang dah diberikan. Jadi
Examiner punya report lah.
examiner report. Jadi kalau nak buat pembetulan, adakah kita ambil kedua-dua komen ataupun yang official sahaja?
Kalau ikut peraturan, correction hanya dibuat untuk yang formal, yang ditulis oleh chairman. The chairman will have to prepare a report, the outline all the correction that is required. So you will base upon the chairman report.
Okay.
The one that is, for example, in the thesis or in the report by the examiners, strictly speaking, not everything should be corrected because those are just feedbacks.
Okay.
Okay. You can hold to the chairman report.
All right.
Chairman report to do the what you call correction.
Okay.
But you have to confirm lah. You have to confirm dengan examiner. This is some examiner they still want their comments in the report to be included in the correction.
Alright.
Okay, number
confirm
one,
with the examiner, is it after we receive the
after Viva lah. After you receive
Viva,
the report
okay.
lah. After
Alright,
you receive the
okay.
report, you can consult the examiner. Already you can consult dia after exam, no problem. Viva dah selesai, dah boleh dah.
Alright.
Okay, so
Okay, Prof.
all of you chat. Thank you lah, thank you very much. I could not you the recording.
Assalamualaikum Prof. Saya ada soalan. Virus.
Inshallah, I will send the recording. I will upload in the YouTube and then.
Prof, apa nama YouTube Prof?
Syahri Yusof, SHARI-YUSOF.
Alright.
Prof, Assalamualaikum. Saya Virus ada soalan.
Ya Fairuz. Fairuz di mana-mana ni?
Saya daripada Perdana School Skandar Razak lah, UTM.
Okay, Perdana School.
Okay. Saya ada nak tanya, how can a student know who are the examiner and when can a student know who are the examiner?
According to the regulation, strictly speaking, you cannot know your examiner. Strictly speaking, you cannot know your examiner. But if you know somehow or other, maybe through conversation with your supervisor, right? Maybe your supervisor will be able to disclose that information. But strictly speaking, it is not candidate cannot know. Because even if he know, he cannot communicate with the examiner.
But
when you thesis submitted, you cannot communicate.
Okay. So
Speaking.
supervisors also maybe don't know because we send a few names, but the
Exactly.
university.
So that's why I say system in UTM is like this. They will submit to the JKA. JKA will do the selection, and then will send to JAKSU, Jatuh Kuasa Pengajian Sekolah University, and then they will actually do the selection. Even sometimes supervisors also don't know if there is changes. At university level, there may be changes which are not being informed to the supervisor, and of course the student also don't know.
If you allow, I have second question, Prof.
Yeah, can, no problem. Tapi semua ni akan rekod ni, saya tengah tak berhenti rekod ni. Dia semua tahulah dengar kan apa yang
okay. So I'm a Malaysian, Kedahan, and I'm write a thesis in English, insyaAllah, full English.
Okay.
But when in Viva, sometimes I'm not very fluent in deliberation in English because of my English proficiency. Is it allowed for a student to give a feedback?
I suggest that you seek permission in the Viva to answer in both language. Seek permission, minta kebenaran.
Okay.
Kalau chairman tu bagi, biasa chairman bagi ya, ataupun ni takkan kita duduk Malaysia kan, takkan tak bagi kan. Dia sometimes we cannot explain in both in the ni kan. I suggest you ask permission lah.
Okay. And my research area, I'm using a qualitative method, but I have some experience in proposal defense when the examiner are from quantitative. They have some school of thought in quantitative.
That's why you have to make sure that the examiner have the same research philosophy, research paradigm. If not, you're going to be in big trouble. You have to advise your supervisor, or you have to you have to consult with the faculty. You know, please don't appoint me because you're going to suffer. I've seen students. It's a management topic, but the examiner is engineering based.
Susah lah.
But tapi satu apa tu virus. Kadang-kadang rezeki virus.
Iyalah.
Kadang rezeki. Tapi pun susah nak.
Yalah.
Sometimes, you know, because if possible, same research paradigm and examiner also same research paradigm with your research. Both or internal, external, or even the chairman best. The best is chairman, same area, you know. Of course, if same area also he start becoming the examiner pula, the problem. Itu jadi problem. Jadi, so that is something that sometimes is unavoidable. But if you can avoid, you discuss with the supervisor lah kalau boleh.
Iyalah. Terima kasih, Prof.
Okay, sama-sama. Anything else? Okay. Kalau tak ada, saya end the session. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih, Prof. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.